in the top position of Oxide to start things off. He is Trap. And his opponent down here in the bottom, he is BYUN. Now, kind of sad to say that both of these players are teamless for the time being. They have not been able to pick up a new team just yet because Generic Greenwings did disband quite recently with the purchase of their airliner, I believe. This is a very signature BYUN move, however. He's got that engineering bay going down. And I love this. He does it a lot. And it just really slows down the Protoss player in such a big way because you have to spend so much time and energy getting a couple of probes down to kill that off. And look at that. He's just going to throw down a second one. He does not care. BYUN, you absolute madman. I feel like BYUN is that player who, BYUN is the player. Basically, the thing about him is he does go for that early to mid-game kind of tier. He does love getting that kind of damage early on. He does sometimes sacrifice the late game for it, but I mean, a lot of the time he can just use that advantageous position that he gets and close out the game pretty quickly. So we should be seeing him do that once again as he's going to be going for Hellions. Now, people are getting wise to him here. Protosses especially are beginning to wall off their mineral lines just to make sure that BYUN can't get in here, but really it's the follow-up where BYUN gets most of his damage. It's either Widow Mines or like some sort of tank push. That's where the big money is. Trap is going to be going for a Phoenix play here. He's got that first one coming out. We'll have to see how heavily he does kind of go into that because really you don't want to go over, I'd say about 5 or 6. You really want to get that transition in because if you're going up to that very heavy Phoenix count, you're going to be quite dead on the ground as you can just get really focus fired by the Marines. You're not really going to have enough to deal with any siege tanks. Even though the lift ups are pretty nice, it's not really the best thing for everyone. Sorry, I'm kind of losing my English. It's 2 a.m. here, so I apologize for that. Yeah, there we go. We got that transition coming on down. The robo facility has been dropped. And behind this, we do have stim about almost complete. So it's kind of a modified 2-1-1 here for BYUN. It's not going to hit as fast, but it's still going to hit relatively hard once he decides to move across, knowing that his opponent is going for Phoenix. Here we go. Robo Bay going down to help out. Getting those Colossus up. Now the question is he going to be able to get it up in time to defend against this? I think the answer is kind of no. It all kind of depends on when BYUN does decide to move out, and he's going to move out as soon as he gets an eye on the Phoenix, which is right now. A couple of those SCVs going to start to fall as the missile turret not going to be complete. But you know, this is going to be a scary situation here for Trap. He doesn't really have a lot of force field energy here. He's going to rely on the Adepts, which are just going to get focus fire down. The shield battery going to help out, save quite a few of them. But Trap really can't afford to move too far forward with this, and he does chase it back. But I don't think BYUN's done, and I don't think he's going to be done for quite a bit of time here. Keep in mind as well, even though that Robo Bay has been finished for a bit, no Colossus have started until just now. +1 has completed combat shields, about to finish up as well, so an additional 5 health. And I mean, from here, BYUN's going to be looking to get whatever damage he can done. Probably waiting for that second siege tank before he goes big. BYUN is pretty all in with this as well right now because he doesn't have that third CC up. So it looks like he's going to siege up right here. The Immortal going to come forward to tank some of those shots. But BYUN's already going straight for the main base. We'll have to see if that's going to work for him, as he does expend quite a bit to get it up there. The Phoenix going to be able to push this away as well. So I think at this point, you just go for a double prong. Sandwich the army. Finish things off here, but BYUN going to be a little bit more cautious than I would imagine, and he's just gonna kind of stay outside. A little bit of a soft contain. That's not really a contain at all. Oh, but look at this. He's gonna depower a couple of buildings right there. Get a couple of Phoenix snipes. Loses the full medevac, however, so that's a very risky move there. That did not pay off for him. He does get an additional Phoenix, though, but that's not really worth 2 medevacs almost full of units. And keep in mind, he doesn't really keep the healing army with his army, rather, as he's been sending all of his medevacs on these kind of suicide missions. And that's kind of what I mean here by just now throwing that third CC. He has sacrificed that late game to try and get that game-winning move, which did not really work out for him. And now Trap getting those additional 6 gateways. He's got a charge on the way with that Twilight Council, and the Templar Archives can start Storm whenever he so chooses. So really, he's just setting himself up in a fantastic position to deal with anything that BYUN throws at him. And I mean, BYUN, just no response whatsoever. Trap going to be taking his 4th base. For really BYUN, I guess he does kind of want to hit that a certain timing. But keep in mind, the longer this goes on, the worse it's going to be for him, because we don't see him actually going for any +2 type upgrades. And the Phoenix still kind of having free range of the map, as there's not really that much production here. Look at that, BYUN still only on 5 racks right now. That's never where you want to be. You want to have additional racks. Probably about 7 to 8 at this point. you got to be careful with that army pathing as well. He loses 2 ghosts for almost 3. The Zealots gonna charge right on top of this. The Phoenix gonna lift up some of those siege tanks. He's not able to focus fire them down, so they will falter right there. And BYUN is on a fighting retreat. Now he does have a small drop that went down right here, but the photon cannon more than enough to deal with that. And the laser giraffes in the back just really getting their work in here. The EMP not going to hit a lot of those Archons. 22 more workers falling here. BYUN just going to tap out. Yeah, that's about all that you can expect from that. Unfortunately, he took that one big engagement a little bit later than he should have, and he paid the ultimate price for it. Yeah, I mean, a good on trap for really kind of smelling that blood in the water. And really making it a true trap there. Now we will be moving on to Pillars of Gold for map number 2. BYUN's definitely not out of it just yet. You know, still a lot of games left to play, so I hope you guys are hungry for some more good StarCraft 2, because these are the guys who's going to bring it to us. Spawning in the top position, he is trapped. That's a drop. And his opponent down here in the bottom, he is BYUN. Alright, so nothing too crazy here. BYUN did change it up a little bit by getting the racks before gas. But unfortunately, that really doesn't tell you too much here. A couple of things that BYUN likes to do. Obviously, he does enjoy the Hellion play recently. I've seen it in a good chunk of his matchups, going for that early harassment damage. The 2-1-1, obviously one of his old favorites. He has a couple of different ways that he can do that. And one of those ways is he can skip that Reaper. Like he usually does skip the Reaper these days. There's no real point to it for him. And Caster Curse, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the Reaper on the way. But yeah, I'm more interested to see what he throws down next year. Everything's looking pretty bog standard at the moment, but there's always the potential to change things up. A little bit of scouting information, always a good thing though. Alright, Trap off the back of this. He's got that Twilight Council going on down. That could be for Blink. He could pump out DTs. But yeah, Blink is more than likely the probable choice here, as we do have a couple of Stalkers, and there you go. So this is not so much a hard counter versus what BYUN's going for, but it's a little bit of a soft counter. We do see that there's not really that much AoE with BYUN's army right now. Obviously, when you're going up against Blink, it's crucial to have that concerted damage, just steady flow of it. And for that, you really do need siege tanks to help out. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to put the score right there. Yeah, BYUN is going to come in here. This is his first real scout around the main base. He is going to go for a probe kill as well. But it's going to be more important to see that blink, and he doesn't actually get wind of that. That is pretty big, actually, because he needs to know about that blink. Now, keep in mind, Trap is being a little bit more defensive with that. He hasn't moved out on the map just yet. He's waiting for the Warp Prism to come on down. Oh, there you go. He's able to push this away and actually gets the kill there. So Widow Mines do fall. That is a terrible pickup there. BYUN's really got to be feeling that one because that was a good chunk of what he was planning to do for the next couple of minutes. Now, it's going to be pretty interesting to see when he does decide to go for his next move out here. If we take a look at that army size, that's where you lost the medevac. But he's still going on that bit of an upward trend there. So bye. So bye. In that stock market. He is going to be sticking with the Widow Mine defense here. He doesn't, which is pretty okay, just because we don't see any Warp Prism out on the map. So these Stalkers not going to be able to reinforce. This is more of a token offense in order to kind of keep BYUN stable, staying on 2 bases. Which, by the way, BYUN has already decided to do on his own. He's not throwing down the 3rd just yet. He's going to be going for a big push here pretty soon. Off the back of this, a couple of Stalkers going to be warping in, but is it going to be enough? As BYUN is able to get a good chunk of units on the ground, but they're just going to be sacrificed. I gotta say, I'm not liking what BYUN's cooking right now. He's making a lot of just small mistakes here and there. That's really just costing him these games. I was told that he was potentially injured, which I do kind of understand. That would explain some of these mistakes, but it's definitely not the BYUN that we are used to seeing. Now Trap taking that army supply lead. He does catch wind of this army, but he is just going to go for this Warp Prism drop. Like 2 ships passing in the night. And here we go. There's quite a bit of Zealots here. That force field not going to help them out, actually. It's going to make it harder for them to kind of engage in there. The reinforcements are going to be staying at home to help defend, but BYUN essentially lost this position, so now he is going to have to go on the retreat, but he's going to make it a fighting retreat all the way back. The Widow Mines not getting the greatest of connections, only getting 1 or 2 Zealots at a time, and so Trap does force this back. That's a little bit more like it there. BYUN doing some very fancy micro moves in order to stay in this game, and he's still relatively even with his opponent, so he's definitely not out of it just yet. Small mistakes early on don't always mean death in the later stages of the game, but it is going to be kind of an uphill slope for him, which I'm very excited to see him fight his way out of. Huge Zealot warp in the main base. The SCV is going to start to fall. The Widowmines do not burrow in time, so BYUN just going to go for the engagement. The Storm's going to blanket this army. And I think BYUN just has barely enough to push through the Zealots, but does he have enough to whittle his way through the Storms either? Stalker's going to be blinked forward, but he's going to lose quite a few of them for that. And BYUN forced back. He's still not mining off his third base. The Liberator's going to help out quite a bit, but he's below 100 supply again. What a scrappy game. Scrappy game, rather, not strappy. Trap does smell that blood in the water, so he is just going to keep this attack going, and BYUN will tap out. A very fast 2-0 for Trap. And yeah, this is definitely not BYUN's top form. I'm really hoping, like, this is the kind of games where I'm really hoping that BYUN's okay. I do know that he is injured, so that is a big explanation as to what's going on. So I do hope after this series he does kind of rest a little bit. There's a little bit of time before the next couple of big tournaments. So yeah, I hope he really does get the rest and maybe, you know, the medical attention that he needs for that. I never want a player to play injured. It's just not fun. It's not fun. It's not fun for the player. It's not fun for the viewer, and it can lead to really drastic injuries. So, you know, if you guys get injured either in sports or esports or in any way, make sure you're giving your body proper time to rest. You know, nothing is going to be worth being 30 or 40 years down the line when you're still nursing an injury because you didn't give it that proper time. So going into game number 3, let's see how it goes. Spawning in the top position, he is Trap. And his opponent down here in the bottom, give it up for BYUN. And you know what? BYUN still has quite a few options to bring this game back. He's got that repertoire of builds that he's mostly known for. I don't think he's going to be going for 2-1-1 this time. He has been playing it pretty standard so far. And 2-1-1 does require pretty crisp timing to make it work versus Protoss. So yeah, I'm interested to see what he does here, especially on a bigger map like Death Aura. Obviously that early harassment going to be pretty important. So yeah, we'll see what he can get done there. Already going to be skipping the Reaper to get that reactor up. So that does kind of tell me he wants to be aggressive very, very quickly. I do think if he hits Trap early, that's going to be his best option. And he does want to kind of clean these games up very fast. And yeah, look at this. We're going to have potentially Hellions once again with just a couple of Marines coming out for defense. For Trap, though, we've got that Adept. He hasn't really thrown down his tech choice just yet. I'm going to say I'm going to say this is probably Stargate. Okay, never mind. Twilight Council it is for another kind of defensive blink opening there. He didn't really use it too offensively in the last game. But what this will allow him to do is if BYUN decides to go for more Widowmine drops, he will be able to defend quite heavily. Although look at that, even faster Robo Facility transition. Little bit of a proxy going on as well. Dark Shrine. So Trap is going to be the one. Who is a little bit cheeky here. The Hellions going to be joining up with this attack. You know, there is a shield battery still being morphed in here. Trap can fall back and kind of get some pickoffs on these Marines, so they're going to start to fall. They do get a kill on the Adept, but he does have to back out of there because he can't really afford to dive in just yet. He wanted to wait for the 4 Hellions because you do need 3 to one-shot the probes. Now he's seen the War Prism. Like, he knows it's on the way. And from here, what does he have started up? Does he even have an engineering bay? He does not. So he is going to have to rely purely on scans for this. And I think he's only got 1 available right now. And there you go. The DT going to get in here. 5 workers, 6 already going down. He can kind of separate these. As oh no, BYUN dropped the mule, so he's not able to get the scan until just about now, and so you can just kind of sequence in these Dark Templar. Oh, I gotta say this is a kind of a sad game to watch here. I really hope BYUN does feel a little bit better. He is giving a lot of damage though. 8 workers going down here before the Banshee does fall. A couple of those SCVs super far out. And he's going to be going for a Raven behind this. But, I mean, still, he's taking a lot of damage here. Taking a look at that army supply. He does have a scary army, but the workers, he's just falling super far behind. Now he has stabilized a little bit, so he's not completely dead, but he doesn't have a third base. You know what? Never mind. You know what? Trap doesn't have a third base either, so this is not GG just yet. Stalker's going to be defending against the Hellions now. We do see another big drop of Archons coming across. BYUN is a little bit of a better position to help deal with that. The Banshee going to get a couple of additional kills as well. But really, the question is going to be, when does BYUN decide to move out? Like, he's going to have to eventually with what he has, because if he gives Trap too much room to breathe, it's just going to be an unsurmountable hill that he has to go over. BYUN is gearing up for a couple of double prongs right there. If he can get that Banshee in, as well as the Hellions, that's going to be his best bet to get some more damage done right now. There you go. Unfortunately, the shield battery is going to be healing up a lot of this. But the Hellbats do get through for just a quick second before they are annihilated by the local fauna. I mean, from here, I think BYUN needs to push. Like, you do have this nice tank positioning down here that you can use. There's not really that many Phoenix. There's only one Colossus out, and there will only be a second one. Trap a little bit far behind in terms of that army count now, so you know, I think this is BYUN's best opportunity to get in there. Oh no, a big warp-in off the back of these Archons. Not even able to clean up that second one here, so this puts BYUN on a timer. In order to finish this game, he's going to have to do it very soon. It's a bit of a base race situation that Trap is infinitely ahead in. Force field's going down, as so are 22 of BYUN's SCVs as that count starts to falter even more. He may get a kill here on this third base. The Banshee going to be doing some work in the main base as well. So some good double prong, but the Colossus just a little bit too much in the back. They have been completely untouched. And even if BYUN cleans this up, the next warp in of units is going to be the scary one, because he gets cleaned up. Trap still has all of his AoE. And he's not really producing that much at home. Only 31 workers. Taking a look at the units lost. Yeah. A little bit anticlimactic there, but I mean, still.